Hey, it's Kirsty, and welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into the Diddy saga. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, definitely go watch that first, because we covered how the allegations surfaced, the federal investigation, the raids, the criminal charges, and the courtroom battle that ultimately changed everything. Now we're picking up right after the verdict. The jury had reached its decision. The trial was over. The headlines were everywhere. And the internet was completely divided. Some people believed the verdict was fair. Others believed prosecutors should have secured convictions on the more serious charges. But regardless of public opinion, the legal process had spoken. Diddy was convicted on transportation-related prostitution charges and would ultimately receive a prison sentence. Today, he remains incarcerated and, according to reports, his projected release date is currently set for 2028. Now, for many celebrities, a conviction alone would be enough to end the story. But Diddy's situation is different. Because the criminal case may be over, but the legal fallout isn't. Not even close. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is thinking that criminal court and civil court are the same thing. They're not. Even after the criminal trial ended, Diddy continued facing numerous civil lawsuits connected to allegations spanning many years. Some of these cases remain active. Others are still working their way through the legal system. And legal experts believe some of these battles could continue for years to come. That means even though the trial is over, Diddy's legal troubles may be far from finished. And then came one of the biggest headlines of 2026. Cassie Ventura, the woman whose original lawsuit helped trigger the chain reaction that eventually led to federal investigations and criminal charges. Recent court filings revealed that Cassie has reportedly left the United States and says she has no intention of moving back. Naturally, this sparked a huge reaction online. Some people saw it as an attempt to finally move on from years of media attention and legal battles. Others argued nobody truly knows her reasons except Cassie herself. What is clear is that her life has been permanently changed by everything that's happened. And honestly, that's something that often gets lost in these stories. People become invested in headlines. They pick sides. They argue online. But the people involved still have to live with the consequences long after social media moves on to the next topic. Then another twist appeared. Reports surfaced that authorities in Los Angeles were reviewing evidence connected to separate allegations involving Diddy. Now, before anyone runs wild with speculation, let's be clear. At the time of recording, no new charges have been filed. No new conviction exists. No arrest has been announced. Authorities are reportedly reviewing information and determining whether additional action is warranted. And that's an important distinction. An investigation is not the same thing as a conviction. But the fact that authorities are reviewing new information is enough to keep this story alive. Then there's the business side of things. Because regardless of where someone stands on the case, it's impossible to ignore how much Diddy's empire has changed. For decades, he was one of the most influential figures in entertainment. Music, fashion, television, business. His brand seemed almost untouchable. Today, the picture looks very different. Major partnerships disappeared. Business relationships ended. Projects stalled. Public perception shifted dramatically. And many industry observers believe the reputational damage could last far longer than any prison sentence. What's fascinating is how divided public opinion still remains. There are people who believe the verdict proved prosecutors failed to establish the most serious allegations. There are others who believe the trial exposed troubling behavior regardless of the verdict. And there are people who simply want the entire story to be over. The reality is that this case became much bigger than one celebrity. It sparked conversations about power, fame, influence, accountability, the music industry, and how society reacts when allegations involve powerful public figures. Even now, those conversations are still happening. So where does this leave us today? Diddy remains in prison. Civil lawsuits continue. Cassie has reportedly left the United States. Authorities are reviewing additional allegations. And one of the biggest celebrity scandals of the modern era is still creating headlines. Whether more bombshells are coming remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. This story isn't disappearing anytime soon. And we'll be here covering every major development as it happens. What do you think? Will there be more legal trouble ahead? Do you think the public has already made up its mind? Or do you think the biggest twists are still to come? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Keep sipping that tea.